This video was made possible by Mzizi International, the official African diaspora clothing brand. Visit mzizishop.com for more information. In the realm of East African relations, a storm is brewing as Uganda and Kenya find themselves entangled in a heated dispute over oil supply. This recent clash has elevated tensions, triggering legal action as Uganda takes Kenya to court over an oil importation disagreement. The rift signals a soaring of relations between President Yoweri Museveni and President William Ruto, once regarded as close friends. This current discord echoes historical tensions reminiscent of the 1970s, a period marked by ideological clashes and chest-thumping among East African leaders. Notably, the absence of key leaders during Kenya's 60th independence celebration hinted at the strained relations within the East African community. Before we dive into our topic today, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channels and ringing the bell to be notified about all our exciting future videos. Recently, whispers of a strained relationship between President Museveni and President William Ruto have surfaced, hinting at a potential fallout between the two leaders. The heart of the matter lies in the recent escalation of tensions, with a fuel policy dispute at the forefront. Divergent approaches to fuel regulations have fueled a diplomatic fallout, raising concerns about the broader implications for the historically stable ties between Uganda and Kenya. The disagreement reached a boiling point as Uganda lodged a case against Nairobi, accusing Kenya of obstructing the use of its pipeline for fuel transportation. The legal action filed to force Kenya into allowing Uganda access to the pipeline is viewed by some as a definitive indicator that the once close ties between President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda and Kenya's William Ruto have irreparably fractured. They no longer participate in each other's national events, reflecting growing concerns from Uganda about apparent non-tariff barriers imposed by Kenya on bilateral trade. The dispute over the oil deal appears to be the culmination of these tensions. Speaking to the East African, Naisongo Muliro, a research fellow at the Global Center for Policy and Strategy, there is a deeper story at play. It's a rarity for an African country to sue another in an African court, and for that matter, involving historically interdependent neighboring states such as Kenya and Uganda. While trade disputes and territorial disagreements between the two nations are not uncommon, the infrequent resort to legal avenues suggests a historical reliance on diplomatic channels for resolution, noted Naisongo Muliro. The East African Court of Justice has faced challenges in establishing itself as a robust institution, with decisions often overlooked or downplayed by governments on the losing side. Operational and financial hurdles further hinder the East African Court of Justice, as it does not convene regularly. Uganda initiated the legal action primarily due to its frustration over Nairobi's refusal to grant it an import route. However, Kenya's energy regulators possess a court injunction that has temporarily halted the authorization process. The feud between Uganda and Kenya is mainly over petroleum imports that have evolved, leading to increased tensions between the two East African nations. The dispute began as a disagreement over the use of a pipeline for petroleum imports. Uganda sought permission from Kenya to transport fuel through its pipeline, and the disagreement escalated when Kenya allegedly blocked Uganda's access to the pipeline. The ongoing feud between Uganda and Kenya holds significant economic implications, disrupting bilateral trade and cooperation. Non-tariff barriers, particularly disputes over vital economic infrastructure such as the pipeline, pose challenges to the smooth flow of goods and services between the two nations. This has led to disruptions in trade, increasing costs for businesses engaged in cross-border activities, and creating an uncertain environment for investors. Uganda's decision to file a case at the East African Court of Justice against Kenya underscores the depth of the dispute, specifically seeking permission for Uganda to use the pipeline for fuel transportation. The disagreement over crucial economic infrastructure hampers joint efforts for regional development and may delay or jeopardize shared projects. Furthermore, economic impacts extend to industries reliant on cross-border trade, such as manufacturing and agriculture, potentially leading to setbacks. The feud's repercussions can also reflect on the gross domestic product of both nations, contributing to slower economic growth and job losses in affected sectors. The dispute not only undermines regional economic integration efforts crucial for East Africa's development, but also influences currency exchange rates, leading to fluctuations affecting trade balances and overall financial market stability in both countries. In November of last year, the High Court in Nairobi issued a prohibition against the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority dealing with the license application submitted by the Uganda National Oil Company. Furthermore, the cabinet has hesitated to make a decision that would grant the Uganda National Oil Company exemption from crucial prerequisites. These prerequisites include providing evidence of ownership of a licensed petroleum depot and 5 retail stations, demonstrating annual sales volumes of 6.6 million liters of petroleum products, and disclosing a turnover of $10 million for the preceding 3 years. In September, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority rejected Kampala's application based on those stipulated requirements. Presently, Uganda alleges that Kenya is violating the East African Community Treaty, which mandates partners to share available port and maritime facilities. Additionally, Uganda contends that Kenya is contravening the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which affirms the right of landlocked states to access maritime facilities and transit routes. Kenyan MP Nelson Koch, who serves as the chair of the National Assembly Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations, describes the disagreement with Uganda as normal, asserting that there is no need for concern. These disagreements are a common phenomenon among virtually all major trading partners worldwide, stated Kenyan MP Nelson Koch. He emphasized that it is entirely within the Republic of Uganda's rights to seek resolution at the East African Court of Justice, as it is one of the arbitration channels for such disputes within the East African Community framework. Koch recommended that the two governments, along with their respective ministries and the East African Community Council of Ministers, work amicably to resolve differences and prevent any escalation. He underscored the significant potential of the East African community in enhancing intra-African trade as a safeguard against external shocks impacting the continent's trade with the rest of the world. The Attorney General's office in Nairobi reported that it had not received the court papers and had not yet issued a response to the lawsuit. Observers note that Uganda and Kenya share a significant and intricate economic relationship, emphasizing their status as crucial trading partners. While Uganda has explored alternative markets, the data emphasizes the strong interconnection between the two nations. So, what do you think of our video? What are your thoughts on this feud between Uganda and Kenya? And do you believe they can both function without each other? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and as always, subscribe to the New Africa channel for more exciting future videos.